Hello, and welcome back to 10 Minute Movies, where we take cinematic masterpieces, and more often disasters, and splice them down into short, digestible videos. Today we're taking a look at the first film I've covered that could really be classified as a disaster. It's the fourth film in the Bond franchise, Thunderball, released in 1965. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh calling it a disaster, but it's safe to say that they played Thunderball a bit, safe. Terence Young returns in his final outing as a Bond director, and Sean Connery returns as James Bond, but parts of this movie really feel quite stale. Nevertheless, many people still find this film enjoyable, so, without further ado, let's get into the plot. Quick disclaimer before we start, this was the first Bond movie to be shot in Panavision with a super wide aspect ratio, so I'm afraid you're going to have to live with black bars at the top and the bottom of the screen. Sorry. The film starts with a pre-credits sequence, and this follows Agent James Bond attending the funeral of Colonel Jacques Bouvard, a Spectre agent who had murdered two British agents. The funeral ends, and Bond follows Bouvard's widow back to her chateau. There, he discovers that the supposed widow is actually Bouvard in disguise. Bond ambushes him, and the two fight. Eventually though, Bond gets the better of him, and he kills Bouvard using a fire poker. After this, Bond is chased by Bouvard's henchmen, but he manages to escape using a jetpack. In real life, this very cool bit of kit was flown by an engineer called Bill Suter, who was one of only two people in the world qualified to use it. Bond then escapes in his Aston Martin DB5, and we're into the credits. We then fade into Paris, where criminal organisation Spectre are holding a meeting regarding operative Emilio Largo's plan. This involves holding NATO ransom by hijacking two atomic bombs from an RAF plane. To do this, Spectre agent Count Lippi recruits Angelo Palazzi to oversee the theft of the bombs. They give Palazzi plastic surgery to make his face identical to that of a French Air Force pilot, who's assisting in a training exercise using the plane. Spectre then killed the real pilot while he's staying at the Shrublands Health Resort. Angelo then arrives at the RAF base and is accepted onto the mission. He boards the plane and uses nerve gas to kill the crew. He then flies the bomber to the Bahamas. There, he lands the plane in shallow reef waters and rendezvous with Largo, who's aboard his yacht. While the bombs are being recovered by frogmen, Largo has Angelo murdered. A cool fact here, while Spectre divers are retrieving the two atomic bombs from the plane, you can clearly see the phrase "handle like eggs" in amongst the technical data. Back at the Shrublands Health Resort, James Bond is recuperating after his previous mission. There, he notices Count Lippi's presence. Finding him suspicious, he keeps him under surveillance, and it's whilst doing that he discovers the body of the French pilot. Bond tries to urgently report this back to his superiors in London, but finds himself targeted by Lippi for trying to interfere. Lippi tries to kill Bond, but he's killed by Spectre instead for nearly jeopardising the mission. Bond returns to London, where he learns that all agents are being put on high alert following the theft of the bombs. The government then learn that a major city in the USA or the UK will be destroyed unless $100 million is paid to Spectre in 7 days. The mission to return the bombs is being dubbed Operation Thunderball, as this is the military term used by US soldiers to describe the mushroom cloud seen during the testing of atomic bombs. Hence its use as the operation name, as well as the movie's title, because this would be the result of Spectre detonating the stolen bombs. Bond talks with Head of Secret Service M about his assignment, and during the meeting, he requests he be assigned to Nassau in the Bahamas to contact the dead pilot's sister Domino, after recognizing the pilot from a photo given to the agents in their main briefing as the body he found at the resort. Bond then flies to Nassau, and there, while reef diving, he meets Domino, who's got her foot stuck in coral. Bond frees her, and they swim back to his boat, where she thanks him. The two then go off to have lunch together, but Domino announces that she has to leave. Later that evening, at a casino, Bond learns that she is the mistress of Largo. Bond exploits this connection to get close to Largo. The two meet for lunch, where they recognise each other as adversaries, Bond realising that Largo must be responsible for the atomic kidnapping, and Largo realising that Bond is onto him. This begins an extensive cat-and-mouse game, in which Bond attempts to spy on Largo, who in turn tries to assassinate Bond, while in person they still pretend to be ignorant of each other's motives. Because of this situation, Bond meets with CIA agent Felix Leiter and MI6's gadget master Q. Q gives Bond specialist equipment to help find the bombs, including an underwater camera and a miniature underwater breathing device. Under the cover of darkness, Bond scuba dives out to Largo's yacht, the Disco Volante. Whilst there, he notices a large underwater hatch on the boat's underside. Bond is then attacked by one of Largo's frogmen, but manages to kill him and evade capture. The next day, with all that's going on, Bond and Leiter surmise that the bombs must be nearby. They head out in a helicopter to try and find the wreckage of the plane, and they eventually find it, camouflaged underwater. Bond dives down to the plane, where he discovers that the bombs are missing, and whilst there he also finds the body of Angelo Palazzi. Bond and Leiter return to Nassau, where Bond meets with Domino at the beach. Fun fact that in keeping with her name, Domino's clothes are always black and white during the film. We discover that Domino has fallen in love with Bond, and the two kiss while swimming together. They return to the beach, and there, Bond reveals to Domino that her brother was killed by Largo. This turns Domino against Largo, and she agrees to help Bond by searching the Disco Volante with a Geiger counter. However, whilst doing this, Largo catches her in the act and has her imprisoned in one of the cabins. Meanwhile, Bond infiltrates the ranks of Largo's men and kills one of them. This allows him to replace one of the divers. Spectre then prepares to move the bombs into position for detonation. Bond travels with Largo's men to where the bombs are being kept, and manages to learn where one of them is being moved to, before being forced to escape. Spectre's target city is Miami, and the bomb is taken aboard the Disco Volante to within striking distance. Bond is picked up by Felix, and the pair travel with the US Navy to intercept the Disco Volante and recover the bomb. Navy divers then attack Largo's men. A massive and extensive underwater battle then ensues. It is actually thought that the many underwater scenes in this film stem from producer Kevin McClory's interest in diving. Personally, I think this is what makes the movie stale, as this large battle really does drag out for quite a long time. Bond decides to go after Largo, and he manages to grab hold of the Disco Volante as she sheds her rear half and transforms into a high-speed hydrofoil to try and escape the battle. Bond manages to climb aboard, and he attacks Largo and his men. Bond manages to fight off most of them, but he's unable to incapacitate Largo before he draws a gun on Bond. He looks set to shoot him when Domino appears, having escaped. She shoots a bolt from a CO2 gun into Largo's back, which kills him. By this time, the Disco Volante is heading uncontrollably towards a reef. Bond and Domino manage to jump clear seconds before it's destroyed. two make their way to a life raft, and the screen fades to black with Bond and Domino being airlifted to safety. Thank you so much for watching 10-minute movies. I really tried to get the audio right for this one, so I hope it was better than last episode. If you've enjoyed this video, you can check one out just like it by clicking in the middle. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like it. See you all later.